closing the doors. We'll go ahead and close the doors and begin. We'll call this Subcommittee for House Study Bill 669 to order. Just a couple of quick announcements as we begin. We're going to allow 30 minutes for us to hear comment from the public regarding House Study Bill 669. We'd ask that everyone who is here, who is a participant other than media, please have a seat. If you don't have a seat, then we have to ask you to leave the room. Just to remind you, this is a time for us to hear, and so if there's any kind of disturbance, clapping, clicking fingers, making noises, we're going to ask you to leave to make sure we can hear from all those who want to share. We're going to go back and forth, a pro and someone who's for the bill and someone who's against the bill. We'll get a chance to hear them in order until we run out of people from one side, then we'll just go with whatever's left in terms of communicating. And we'll give you a couple minutes to share, and she'll be the timekeeper to let me know when your time is up. When your time is up, I just ask you to finish what you're saying, and then we'll progress to the next person. Okay? And so I'm here. I'm Representative John Dunwell, and I am the chair of this thing. I'm also with Representative Holt and Representative Wickendahl, who's here. And so we're here to hear from you, your thoughts on House Study Bill 669. Can we have someone who's for, and then we'll go with someone who's against. If you're for, please come to the microphone and speak, and the timer will begin once you start to speak. Thank you. And please speak into the microphone because we want to make sure we hear everybody, okay? Okay, sir, go ahead. Turn your mic on, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Florence. My wife, Diana, joins me today. Thank you for your service on this committee. We appreciate your work on behalf of Iowans. My wife and I have 3 adult children. We also have 2 young children we adopted through Iowa's foster care system. We know from personal experience there needs to be legal protection for foster and adoptive parents who hold to religious convictions. As Christians, we know that all individuals are created in the image of God, that He created them male and female. A person's sex is established at birth. As Christian parents, we raise, guide, and instruct children in a manner consistent with the child's sex. That's true for us as biological parents, as foster parents, and as adoptive parents. We would not support gender transitioning. We support this bill because we've experienced what can happen when this kind of legal protection is not in place. As Christian foster parents, we've been discriminated against by 4 Oaks, a contracted agency of Iowa HHS. In our foster care training, Christian beliefs were mocked. We were told we should not foster at all if we do not affirm the LGBTQ community. The word ignorant was used to describe a religious denomination that shares similar convictions to our own. After providing foster care for about a year, our foster care license was placed on hold by 4 Oaks. This was related to our religious beliefs regarding same-sex marriage. HHS often says there's a shortage of foster and adoptive parents. Many individuals, like ourselves, foster or adopt due to our deeply held convictions. State-sanctioned ideologies that punish parents for their beliefs will significantly shrink the pool of foster parents in Iowa. These ideologies will also likely result in costly litigation for the state when foster parents, such as ourselves, have our First Amendment rights violated. This bill does not preclude HHS from taking into account the beliefs of a foster child, and HHS can continue to place children in foster and adoptive homes that best support that child. We encourage you to recommend passage of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Someone against?
Keaton Crow here, One Iowa. We are registered in firm opposition to this bill. When we first posted about this bill and let everyone know that it would enable parents to practice the dangerous, discredited practice known as conversion therapy, my inbox was flooded with stories of people telling me how horrific their experiences of conversion therapy had been. Conversion therapy is in fact not a therapy at all. It is torture. The stories I have are too numerous to get through, but these are people who were institutionalized, humiliated, and even put through electroshock therapies in order to change who they were. I don't care what kind of language we couch this in. I don't care what the motivation is. I just know that this is a procedure noted by every major medical and mental health organization to cause increased rates of depression, anxiety, homelessness, and suicide. And that is horrific. I can't believe we are even having this conversation, and I ask you to vote no, and rather than enabling this kind of torture, bring a bill to restrict its use across this state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Someone for? Raise your hand and I'll call on you.
Chuck Hurley, family leader for the bill. Thank you for bringing it. The question often comes up, why do we need legislation? We heard from this gentleman in Ankeny that he was mistreated right here in Iowa. But broader than that, I just want to read a brief paragraph here. Oregon, Massachusetts, Vermont, Washington, and California have policies requiring foster parents to affirm a child's gender identity, which includes supporting them and their desire to transition. My wife and I have had about 15 foster kids, 10 of which were long-term, 6 months to 13 years. We've adopted a couple of special needs kids. And I'm not saying that we're all that. I'm just saying that we would not have been foster parents if Iowa would have had these requirements. And to diminish the pool of prospective foster parents when there's 3,700 kids in foster care is the exact opposite of what we want to do as a state. So thanks for bringing this. Let's protect those parents who have these convictions that God created them male and female. And I just finished with this. One of the greatest pools of potential foster parents are from churches who have these beliefs, because churches, the scriptures talk about helping widows and orphans. And so there's actually an unction or a doctrine within most churches to actually become foster parents and adoptive parents. So we don't want to cut off that source of prospective foster parents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuck. And if you want to take a seat back there, we'll have them come up here and speak. Someone who's against. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Adam Bessman. I'm a constituent of House District 35, and I am a survivor of child abuse. Growing up, every mistake I made was met with volatility. On particularly bad days, it manifested as physical violence, and even more common than that were threats and degradation. From a young age, I was taught that I was selfish, ungrateful, worthless, and a pig. That no matter how hard I tried, I only made my loved ones' lives worse, and the world would be better off if I was not part of it. Because of these lessons, I spent much of my childhood and teenage years extremely suicidal. This is not a story I share often. It's trauma I still carry with me, and frankly, there's too much to fit into 2 minutes. However, as a transgender man, I feel it is imperative to set the record straight for this subcommittee. The actions permitted by HSB 669 are child abuse, specifically the legalization of conversion therapy. By passing this bill, you would allow, nay, encourage parents to teach their children the same things mine taught me, that they are worthless, that unless they fundamentally change who they are, their existence is a burden instead of a gift, which is what it is. I am telling you from experience, no child should ever go through that. Representatives Holt and Dunwell, you are both parents. As parents, it is your job to prioritize the safety not just of your children, but of every child. As somebody who wants nothing more but to be a father someday, I am deeply ashamed that you would ever consider jeopardizing such safety. I implore you to do your jobs. Protect Iowan children. Do not advance this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone for?
Good afternoon. My name is Anita Fisher. I'm speaking for Protect My Innocence. House Study Bill 669 clarifies a deeply flawed misunderstanding in child welfare law. Raising a child according to their biological sex is not abuse. It is an approach that has stood the test of time. Parents, natural and adoptive, and foster parents and families should not have to fear allegations of child abuse, loss of custody, or other adverse legal consequences solely for providing guidance and care to a child who may be experiencing gender dysphoria. This bill does not prevent intervention in cases of real abuse or neglect. It simply protects parents and caregivers from being punished for raising that child according to its biological sex and giving guardians the ability to choose appropriate health care and treatment over irreversible medical interventions. Trauma often impacts identity. Going through therapy to look into the trauma and how it impacts identity is helpful. According to the American College of Pediatricians, support from a licensed therapist, including family psychotherapy, is the recommended approach and has been shown to resolve gender dysphoria. Thank you for this bill, and I respectfully ask for your support and passage of it.
Thank you. Someone for or against, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. My name is Nick Linkethis. I'm a Des Moines resident, a small business owner, and a property owner here in the whole county. I have my master's degree from National University in Applied Behavior Analysis, and I've done 30 hours of postdoctoral coursework in the field of psychology. I'm here first and foremost to speak as an expert of behavioral psychology in how change efforts of sexual orientation and gender identity are harmful. They are considered torture, abusive. There's no scientific backing behind them. Even as language changes over time, and we use different terms for the same kinds of principles, it doesn't change what the science says. A 2020 study found that parent, therapist, and religious leader attempts to change a youth's sexual orientation increased risk 3 times of high levels of depression, suicidality, lower educational attainment, lower income levels, and reduced life satisfaction in young adulthood. Another study specifically on gender identity change efforts showed that those efforts increased distress and increased risk of lifetime suicidality risk by 2 times. The current form of conversion therapy, quote unquote, for gender identity is called gender exploration therapy, while holding a therapeutic outcome of delaying any other affirming methods of gender affirming care to explore the causes of that gender identity and discrepancy. This is a carbon copy of reparative therapy, which has also been an incredibly discredited practice as it relates to sexual orientation. These efforts only show increased risk of harm. They do not show long-term effectiveness. Many of the studies supporting their effectiveness have very cherry-picked participant groups and very slow recall times when they're able to follow up to confirm continued chance of success.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Someone who's for? If there's nobody who's, are you for? If there's no one for, then we'll take someone who's, okay, we'll walk up. Come on here, Oliver. Can someone make a little room for Oliver there? Just grab a mic. There you go. You just come over here. There you go. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Is this okay? Chair, members of the committee, my name is Oliver Bardwell. I'm a father of 6, and I'm here today as a parent. House Study Bill 669 matters because it draws a clear line. A parent who protects their child is not abusive. This bill isn't extreme, it's preventative. Across the country, we've seen what happens when the state decides it knows better than parents. In California, a mother named Abigail Martinez lost custody of her daughter after refusing to affirm her gender identity, pushed by the school system. Her daughter was removed from her home, placed in a group facility. She was given testosterone without her parents' permission. She spiraled into despair and later realized the truth, but it was too late. She died by suicide. This is not compassion, this is coercion. And this isn't isolated. Just weeks ago in New York, a jury awarded $2 million to a young woman who was coerced into having a double mastectomy at 16. She now detransitions, permanently harmed because doctors failed basic standards of care and informed consent. I've personally interviewed young women who lived through this. They weren't protected. They were ushered down a pipeline of transition, medicalization, and irreversible damage. Every one of them asked the same question. Where were the adults in the room? Where were the adults protecting me? This bill makes sure those adults can do their job. HSB 669 does not deny care. It does not tell families how to parent. It says parents in Iowa can still say, slow down. They can say not yet. They can say no without fear of being treated like criminals. Children need time, parents need authority, and the law should protect both. I respectfully
Thank you.
urge you to support
Thank you.
House Study Bill 669. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go right here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jordan Humphrey. I am a college student, an educator in Des Moines Public Schools, and constituent of House District 35. Like many people, I had several important adult mentors in my life as I grew up. The most influential ones were family members, teachers, and coaches with a seemingly endless patience for me, who saw my individual strengths and who pushed me beyond what I thought was capable. These same amazing people are the ones who supported me when I came out as a transgender man. That's because caregivers who truly show up value the whole child for all their truths. I wanted to become an educator because of the teachers who changed my life and because I know how important it is for kids to be loved for who they are. This year, I have taught in 10 different schools across Des Moines. As a mandatory reporter, I am trained to recognize significant harm. When kids come to school, they carry with them the experiences of home. I see students struggling with violence against their communities, with housing instability, and with food insecurity. This is what we need to be changing for Iowa children, not their identities. I am proof that loving transgender youth for who they are allows them to grow into authentic, successful, and confident young adults who are contributing members of their society, many of us, like those of us here today, choosing to show up for our communities or commit our lives to a career of public service. Do not give permission to turn the lives of these transgender children into worse. Do not give permission to turn identity into trauma by passing this bill. I urge you to vote no.
Thank you. Down on the end there in the brown. Is there just to make sure, is there anyone else in favor who'd like to speak before I go? Okay, we'll go in favor. I apologize. Forgive me, ma'am. Go ahead. Yep.
Hi, I'm Amber Williams with Inspired Life. We support the bill. Scripture teaches us that children are a gift from God. And with that gift comes responsibility. Parents are entrusted to raise, guide, and protect their children with wisdom, truth, and love. That responsibility does not come from the state, it comes from God. This bill is proactive. It provides clarity and protection for families. It makes clear that ordinary, good faith parenting, like raising a child consistent with their biological sex, is not abuse, neglect, or endangerment. This bill is about authority. Parents are responsible for their children and should not fear government intervention for acting in good faith. Protecting parental rights is how we protect children, and that is why this bill matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am at the end.
Hi. I prepared a speech, but I'm going to try something different because although I have a lot of personal stories and statistics I could cite, I don't really think it's getting through to anybody. So what's troubling me is I'm a United States Navy veteran. I joined just before 9/11, and I just want to explain, and I don't know how to put it into words, but the pain of having to be here today, because in the heartland, in Iowa, we are not doing our most basic human. We need to protect kids, and I thought until I went to a couple weeks ago a protest where there was a freedom of speech zone that I was ushered 3 different places to. I thought we had freedom of speech. I thought we had the freedom of religion. I thought those were the things that I fought for and sacrificed my time for. But coming back to Iowa, I came back here because Iowa's unlike anywhere else I've been. I've lived in a lot of different places, and Iowa is truly the salt of the earth. But I can't recognize Iowa anymore, and it's very troubling. And everybody has the right to believe what they believe. You have the right to believe that your God. You have the right to do whatever you want in your organizations. You have that right, and I would never try to take that from you. But children have the right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That is the time that we have for opening testimony. Thank you for all those who came over to give the representative a chance to speak. I do want you to know that I reviewed all the comments last night. I reviewed all the comments this morning. Thank you for those who placed comments online as well. We appreciate it. Representative Wickendall, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that way. Forgive me.
It's okay, I appreciate that. I would like just real quick, I know we're short on time, but would Representative Holt yield to some questions?
No, not in this forum. That's not what this is for, Representative Wickendall.
I mean, it is.
And we're running out of time.
I understand that we are on a time. However, this is your bill that you introduced, and I do believe you owe the public some answers on it.
This is not my bill. I did not introduce it.
It's introduced by Chair.
Hey, could I interrupt you guys for a second?
I'm not answering your question.
That's fine. If you wish to
I
not
don't get
answer
into
questions,
grandstanding in
if you wish
subcommittees,
to
okay?
not answer questions about this bill, I
You
understand.
can grandstand on your own time.
All right, so just to remind everyone, just hold it for a second. This is a time to hear from the public, not for us to have a debate. So we'll have a chance to do that on the floor.
I
Okay?
understand. This bill should not make it to the floor, honestly. The fact that we are once again targeting Iowa's trans community is shameful and quite frankly disturbing. And I do want to thank everyone here who did come today and offer testimony and share your experiences for what you personally have went through. And I'm sorry if old wounds had to be reopened to be here. And I am sorry that your government seeks to hoist those experiences on a new generation of Iowa children. The bill before us today is dangerous, relies on faulty science, and is based on hostility towards the trans community. And I am sure in just a moment we will hear about parents' rights and the needs to protect parents or children, but under current Iowa law, no parent is required to affirm their children's gender identity or support a treatment plan for the same. But parental rights are being used as a cudgel to enable harm upon children in the name of making them straight. It places children in the hands of unlicensed medical professionals, and these dangers are not theoretical. In Utah, Jody Hildebrandt, who was a counselor, who had a suspended license, she attempted to repair the identity of her non-binary niece. Hildebrandt subjected her niece to verbal abuse, social isolation, starvation, and sleeping outside in sub-zero temperatures in an attempt to cure her of her, quote, distortions. When she went to law enforcement to report the abuse that she had suffered, she was ignored. It took 13 years and the escape of an emaciated boy from her home before law enforcement was able to determine the depths of the abuse to minors. This bill is a shield for child abuse. And I would ask members of this committee, would you subject your own family members to this level of abuse? Because I hope and pray the answer is no. And if it is no, then table this bill immediately today.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Holt.
Thank you. Sometimes I wonder if we're looking at the same bill. Not sure. I will say this. I find it very interesting when folks try to use a heckler's veto, which is when folks out in the hallway want to start screaming and hollering to try to drown out those who disagree with them. I'm not sure if they're afraid of an opposing viewpoint or not, but that's what happened every time in this room, was that every time someone spoke that disagreed with the crowd out in the hallway, they wanted to scream them down. And that is not civil discourse, and that tells folks a lot. I don't know what they're concerned about. You concerned about an opposing viewpoint? I wonder why. The fact of the matter is, I will do my job and stand for truth, and this legislation absolutely stands for truth. So I will be signing on to advance it to the full committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Holt. I as well am going to forward this bill. I believe it protects parents' rights who believe that gender is determined by biology, protects them against being accusations of child abuse, protects them as being able to be foster parents, adoptive parents, and protects them in child custody cases. I thank you for coming here and sharing your thoughts. I thank you, representatives, for being part of the subcommittee. And with that, we'll close this subcommittee meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.